Where's the intro? There it is. Welcome to the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams, and today I've got a spoiler-free, non-spoiler review for Missing. Missing is a standalone sequel to 2018's Searching. If y'all are familiar, Searching was that movie starring John Cho where he was looking for his daughter, and the entire movie was done through computer screens. All we saw were videos and stuff playing on a computer screen, and that was our insight into the story, into this world. Missing continues that. The fun thing about that is Missing is being directed by the two people who were the editors for Searching. Those two people would be Nick Johnson and Will Merrick. And because of them editing Searching, they're already familiar with the gimmick of doing the computer screens and how it should be coming together, and it shows in Missing. Real quick, I am calling it a gimmick just to shorten it. I don't mean it to sound like it's a negative, because anyone who's seen Searching understands and knows it's not a gimmick as to be determined by a negative tone to that word. It is just how the movie is displayed, and again, Missing does that also. So again, don't mean to make that sound completely negative, but I'm going to touch upon that a little more here in a little bit. As for the movie, again, it's a standalone sequel. It has really nothing to do with the previous movie. So you don't necessarily have to have seen Searching to watch Missing. But it does help if you really enjoyed Searching, or if you haven't seen Searching, go watch that first to really get an idea of how this interactive computer screen world works, and then watch Missing, because it's going to put you right back into that same world, that same environment. And if you were already happy with how Searching was, I feel like it might help you ease back into this world when watching Missing. Otherwise, it's kind of the same idea. Again, Searching was about a father looking for his missing daughter. Searching is kind of flipping that a little bit. It's a daughter that's looking for her missing mother. And it's kind of an interesting concept, especially when you look at it from the point of the daughter is 18 years old, played by Storm Reed, who does a phenomenal job for her character June. And when you look at that, the idea is, I feel like this resonates with a lot of people. I know it did with me when I was younger. Teenagers tend to understand this technology better than adults. I feel like it's a stereotype, but it's a stereotype that I for one, believe it's probably pretty true. So it's kind of interesting seeing how June, Storm Reed's character, is able to navigate this world of videos and social media and clicks and stuff to solve the problem as to where did her mom disappear to. Compared to the first movie, where it kind of seemed like a little bit that John Cho's character was not completely familiar with how to really grasp the internet and use it to his advantage. There were some things he was very competent on, but some things that he may have having to second guess, and I just feel like that June had a much better idea of where to go and how to do that. So it made it kind of believable, I would say, in my opinion, for this movie. Moving forward from that, we do get a lot more, because she's a teenager, we do get a lot more interaction with stuff other than just like YouTube videos and security cameras, kind of like what we had in the first movie. Now we're actually diving more into the world of a lot more like live stream cameras, Instagram, TikTok, all that kind of stuff that are added to this, because that's what a teenager would typically be using. I'll also reference, if you've ever seen that movie Spree, kind of the same idea. Spree was a movie that was entirely live streamed about a guy who's trying to build a following, trying to be an influencer. Primarily, I believe it was on Instagram, that he's trying to tell people like how to be a serial killer, and being a serial killer is what would boost your numbers. So he's hoping to get people to follow him because he's killing a bunch of people through a live stream. And not doing a good job of it. I do recommend Spree. It is kind of a fun one-off movie. But this is a review for Missing. And yeah, so it's a lot of the similar stuff with that in there. Moving on to the acting. Like I said, Storm Reid did a fantastic job as June. Nia Long does a really good job as her mother, Grace, as well. The other one that I'm going to point out is going to be throughout this movie, she's basically trying to find her mother's on vacation in Colombia, and June is trying to figure out how to interact even though she can't go to Colombia. So she hires someone in Colombia that can help her out. And that person would be Javier, who is played fantastically by Joaquin de Almeida. And I would say that that's probably one of the best parts of this movie is her interactions with Javi. And it's so much fun, especially when you look back at him. If you recognize him, that's because he was the main bad guy in Fast 5. He was Hernan Reyes, so it's kind of a weird character for him to be playing in this movie, where he's so helpful and personable compared to essentially like a drug lord in Fast 5. So I love his acting, his performance in this movie. Everything seemingly is pretty good. Again, actor-wise, you got Ken Leung is coming in, that playing Kevin, her mom's new boyfriend. All the mystery and everything that's going on throughout the entire trip, I feel like was pretty well done. My negative that I'm going to say for this movie is going to be kind of a mix of the story and the gimmick. I feel like it's all pretty strong, but when you get to the final moments, that final act of this movie, I kind of feel like the story is kind of brushed aside for playing up the gimmick. Unlike the first movie, where you had a solid story and the gimmick worked with the story, this one, especially by the end of Missing, I feel like it tends to favor the gimmick more than the story. The story is pretty wrapped up, as you go into the third act. Everything's already revealed. You know who did what whatsoever. Again, no details on it, but you have a good idea of the end of the story. Now we just need to watch the action play out, and the main part of this is all shown in one house with security cameras. So all we're doing is watching essentially one computer screen with multiple security cameras in different rooms of this house as we're watching the people moving around. I feel like that kind of loses the idea of what these movies are setting up. It's not as creative as I would have liked, and I don't know how else to do it better. It just feels like that we didn't do anything outside of just showing video from inside the home, and I feel like that kind of drags it down. The story gets kind of wrapped up in a very convoluted way, and therefore it kind of makes it a little difficult to really, it's not as satisfying a conclusion, I would say. That and being in this video camera world, I feel like it kind of falls apart. It doesn't really stick the landing. Other than that, the rest of this movie it's a good, solid little thriller, much like Searching. So going into that, looking at Searching, I think I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Going into Missing, again, when the movie starts, you're right back in this world. You're comfortable with it, especially if you liked Searching. You're right back into the same idea. And I was all for this. I was ready for it, but come that third act, kind of brought it down a bit. So my overall review for this is I'm going to have to probably give it a 3 out of 5. Just knocking it down a star there. I wish it was as good as Searching. I wish it was as satisfying as Searching. After I was done watching Searching, I kind of wanted to go rest, relax, take a nap, because that was a roller coaster ride of a movie. This one kind of starts off that way, but like I said, it doesn't stick that landing as well as Searching did. So therefore, I don't know. It's a fun movie, especially seeing it in the theater. Definitely would recommend, just because it's kind of funny seeing all the computer screens and the windows and everything up on a big screen. So it's kind of a fun environment to be in a movie theater. But yeah, I recommend it. If you're a fan of Searching, go watch Missing. It's a blast, but just that third act, just for me, Anyways, that is going to be the review for Missing. What did you think of the movie once it comes out? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, make sure you stay here with the Cinefanatics. We do our live stream on Wednesday where we talk about movie news. Once a month, generally, we are doing a tier ranking show called The Marquee. So make sure you come follow us for that. It's a lot of fun over there. And also, check out the Cinefanatics podcast. We drop a video version on this channel, and an audio version is available almost anywhere that you get podcasts. Otherwise, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CinefanaticsMLP. You can follow me personally at RobertAdamsMLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and YouTube.com/@RobertAdamsMLP. Otherwise, thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Peace. Good night. Later. Control-Alt-Delete. I don't know. Something like that.